If we look over the first 6 chapters of the book, it's attempting to tell a story around how we learn and how to coach. But inevitably, if you just give individuals the science, you leave so much on the table because science can be interpreted so many different ways. So for me, it was important to marry the science of coaching, so to speak, with the art of coaching, allowing my experience applying this science of teaching for now a decade through the lens of specific strategies, models. So there are 2 primary models that we will talk about in the book. Think of them like mental models, simple bits of software that once you've read through it, you can download into the back of your mind and have operating every single time you interact with a person. One of those models we call the 3D model of cueing. Another phrase I'll use is the anatomy of cueing, or the anatomy of language we use to teach. And in that, we talk about the specific elements involved in the language we use that help people understand how to move better. What you'll find is that formula, so to speak, allows you to, in the moment, when you're cueing, when you're engaging, and that language falls flat, you have that athlete or patient look back at you and say, so what do you want me to do? Or you find yourself having to repeat it over and over again. Or you find that you give the cue, it works right now, but when the client or athlete comes back a few days later, it's like Men in Black have gone into their bedroom, erased their memory, and it's starting back at ground zero. What do you do? Do you just go back to saying it louder and saying it more often? I don't think so. You need a strategy. And the 3D model of cueing embeds science in a simple approach that allows you real time to connect what your client is familiar with, the error you are trying to fix, and use language to get them the next best idea in their head that will help them move better. That's what the 3D model of cueing is all about. And the other piece within that I think is valuable for individuals is the following. When we communicate with one another in normal conversation, if we were to audio record a conversation at a coffee shop, let's say, we use analogies, metaphors, about 5 to 6 times a minute, right? So 5 to 6 times a minute, you reference something by another name to help people understand. And to be clear, what is an analogy? It's taking something that your athlete, let's say, is familiar with, like a jet taking off, and comparing it to something that they are less familiar with, such as sprinting forward as fast as they can. And if I marry those together, I can say sprint off the line like a jet taking off. Now they can map that thing they're familiar with, that's simple, visual, relatable, to this thing that they are less familiar with, because they're just learning how to sprint for the first time. We devote in language that strategy all the time in normal human conversation to help connection, to help understanding, to make things simple. You talk to your kids, different than your coworkers, different than your loved ones. In all those cases, what's the difference? It's the stories you tell. And a part of this book is learning how to be a better storyteller, to make your language visual, simple, and fun, so it can marry with the movement you are trying to teach, allowing your clients, athletes, and patients to move better. So we will dedicate an entire section just to the model around developing rich, effective, visual analogies. Those are the 2 major strategies people will get.